like when it comes to these two players, I would have said like at the beginning of the year, maybe the first like 4 or 5 months, like GogojOey is probably hands down like favored and the best in like the country in Hong Kong. But again, like you were pointing it out, like what 2-3 weeks ago, Bistork, like he's also been improving. Like we shouldn't sleep on him. Like, you know, he has, yeah, he has this like aggressive style, and like sometimes it even catches GogojOey off guard.
It really does, and maybe it'll happen here once again, but I think the case with Bistork is that overall I think he's been improving. Like you said, I think he's definitely a much better player now compared to 8 months ago at the start of 2020. But I think just because of how many different builds he throws out there and how many different, how many different ways he plays, it can be kind of hard to like actually put a number or quantify how much he's improved. But speaking of improve, we are now on Eternal Empire Ile. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map. We have our Red Zerg player coming out all the way from the land of Hong Kong. He is the Wallaby himself, the second most winginest GPO player. He is going to be representing Team GP. We have GogojOey.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE. This time not going for a Forge First. We have the other Hong Kong player, the Protoss player, currently teamless. It is Bistork.
Now, I do want to ask you something about this late, but is this going to be your first time casting our Hong Kong boys?
Oh, you mean together?
Or I mean even just individually. Oh no, because you cast a couple of GPOs.
Mate.
You cast a couple of GPOs.
I've casted GPOs.
Okay.
Especially, I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the year, I would like jump in for the semis. If you recall.
Yeah, back when ESL Asia was whatchamacallit.
Was on the next day. Yeah.
Sunday early afternoon.
Yeah. So obviously I've casted them nowhere near as many times as you and Quirky. I will say for sure. But you know, I've casted them. I watched the VODs. I edit the VODs. You know.
Yeah, and while you edit them, you sort of cast, throw in a bit of caster insight while you do it.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Coming in from the north.
Why do I sound British?
That's what they say in Britain, right? They're coming in from the north. Yeah. Scotland, they're coming again.
God damn it, Yaku. But yeah, so far GogojOey, pretty interesting opener. I believe he went for a gas, like he got his gas and pool before his hatchery. I know that much. I didn't get to see which.
Yeah, he is playing it very economic.
Yeah. So he already has his lings across the map looking to try. Oh, actually, if the adept doesn't go back, these things could sneak in.
Oh, who's gonna get that first? Who's gonna get that first? They're neck and neck, like they are neck and neck. The adept coming in and trying to take away some life, but does not work. The shade starting to gain on them, but guess what? There are two lings, and GogojOey gets a fantastic scout. Sees everything that Bistork has done without an overlord.
Exactly, yeah. Without an overlord, pulling a Sioris there, except actually slipping in with his lings, with his two lings, able to get into the main base, spots the Stargate, and now GogojOey. He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, looking pretty dang good. He knows that, he can still afford to get a couple more drones before getting the spore down, but what? Oh, okay. I saw Bistork going for that Void Ray and thought, Mr. Stork?
It's like, Mr. Stork. It's not the new patch yet. Calm down.
Exactly. I know you're an ascendant. You've ascended this plane, and you can see into the future. But yeah, you have to sync that up with the current time zone.
yeah. Getting a little bit too ahead of himself there. As again, there will be a new patch. I hope that like said patch doesn't come in the middle of the qualifier week, and it's like after the qualifiers are done, hopefully. But yeah, it's I wouldn't put it past Blizzard, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm a little bit worried.
It's just qualifiers, guys.
Oh my god, you know what's gonna happen? Qualifiers are gonna finish, then the patch is gonna hit, and it's gonna break all the replays. No, I can see it already.
This is entirely from experience for
yes, it is.
the viewers back home. The reason why I sound so distressed there, it comes from a place of experience.
Yeah, we've lived through it. We've been there. We've been through that timeline, and we don't want to experience it again. Okay, so Bistork going for this double Orca opener.
Ooh, fantastic creep clear out there. That was the one tumor that GogojOey needed to connect these these layers to creep. You know, that was his bridge. He had to build that bridge. You know, to just cross the divide.
Yeah, and Bistork, he just completely destroyed that bridge, keeping them divided, the third and the natural, that is. So, yeah, really nicely done. No drone damage, though. Like, he hasn't really been able to sneak into any mineral line quite yet. Meanwhile, we do see GogojOey is going for that Overlord Scout just to make sure there's nothing else hidden here in the main base. But there isn't. There's just,
That's
nothing.
just stuff hidden in the natural base.
Yeah. Like,
although I guess you wouldn't really call it hidden, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if we look at it, like, there's nothing too crazy. Like, there's a robo, you know? I think what's crazy is that, oh, there we go. Finally. I was wondering where the tech was. The Forge gets thrown down, along with the Twilight Council, along with the Robo Bay, all after that Overlord goes down.
This is gonna be Speed, Prism, Soul Train. Nah, it's probably gonna be Disruptors.
I mean, I would imagine so. Like, oh god, it's one shot away. God, be so careful. Bistork, please. But yeah, like, typically it's Disruptor. Like, we have seen a couple of Protoss players go Colossus as well. Like, namely Probe, he's probably the most prominent. But, oh god, no! He's sneaking on him!
GogojOey target fires them. Oh, but they're in position! Or rather, they're not in position. It's more of a case of, they just didn't move. Because they weren't attacked.
Yeah.
Ready.
They did not move. So nicely done. Snipes off one of the oracles. The other gets away. It's still alive. It can dip in for a bit of scouting.
But it's pretty badly bruised. Meanwhile, we see a massive move out coming out from GogojOey. I think Bistork got a little too ambitious there. He threw down his Forge, his Twilight Council, his Robo Bay, as well as the third base, and now it looks like he's paying the price for it.
Exactly. Like, he doesn't really. He has 2 active gateways right now. 2 active gateways.
Gateways.
That's what he's relying on right now. Like, his production to defend. And this is a timing from GogojOey where, like, there's nothing here. There's 2 sentries. Such
a strong timing, and honestly, I'm looking at GogojOey through my mind's eye, and he looked surprised. He did not think that this timing was gonna be so effective.
Oh my god, and he even catches one of the immortals, his second immortal as well. The overcharge was used at the third base, so it's not available here in the natural. The second immortal goes down, and now, like, what is there here? There's a Colossus coming out for Bistork, but Colossus is not what you want against Roach Ravager.
Yeah, it'll definitely help against the Lings, but it's not like GogojOey really needs that Ling buffer at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Roaches are moving on forward. The third, everything at the third goes down as well. And I mean, with good enough micro, it's possible, but there's no War Prism either. Like, potentially, like, with War Prism micro, you could hold on.
Yeah, well, I think the best shot right now for Bistork is just relying on the short range of the Roaches. Even without Thermal Lance, these Colossus can, you know, just try to kite or siege up in a position to attack these Roaches, as long as there's a buffer for them. And that's a bit of a Racer battery overcharge there, isn't it, Light?
Yeah, and the Nexus gets sniped, it goes down, and as we were saying, like, Bistork, he holds, right? He's able to survive the wave, but he lost a lot of workers, he lost his Nexus as well. I don't know, like, if he had a War Prism, like, he could just go across the map and do what he can, but at the moment...
Oh, War Prism, I heard that wrong. I thought you said Void Ray.
If he had some Void Rays, he could just go across the map. Nothing. Oh, to be fair, a Void Ray would have been amazing defensively. Like, nothing could shoot up.
Yeah, nothing could shoot up, and they do help a little bit against the Roaches, but I think GogojOey just has way too much. Bistork is gonna hold once again, but the damage has just been done.
Yeah, definitely. Like another 2 probes go down. To be fair, like Bistork, like he did at least keep his Colossus alive. Like so, he's gonna have a decent Colossus count. He does have recall available to him, so if he wanted to, he could probably push out. And you know, if he ever like feels in danger, he can just recall out after he deals whatever damage he can. I just feel like he does need to deal some damage, right? Like here across the map, a 4th base is on the way, Spire is already done, Mutalisk are on the way. Like GogojOey, after dealing that damage, he didn't end the game, but he's well ahead.
He may as well have ended the game there, yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, I do think that Bistork's mistake does fall back to what you're saying, that lack of the Warp Prism. I'm just looking at Bistork's army right now, and he can try to go across the map and use a recall, but recall does take up a lot of energy, which at this point, Bistork, you know, he probably wants some Proto Boost out, and it takes a while for the recall to actually hit. In that time, after Bistork hits or casts recall and before the units are actually teleported back, a Colossus could go down, and that's, God knows how many gas.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people probably know how many gas. I just can't think of it on the top of my head.
That's the scary thing about like recalling against a Roach Ravager army is that you hit recall, then immediately the Ravager shots go on your army, and then they'll land before the recall goes off, you know. And your units are stationary, so you can't micro against that. Like that's the scary thing. But we'll see again what Bistork does. As at the moment he's just turtling up, like he's establishing his 3rd base again. Like he's just trying to slowly work his way up, and like this is another move that he could do as well.
It definitely is, but he's gonna have to pick how does he split his army, and as the mutas are starting to come in, and honestly I think he split it decently well, but the force fields aren't here, Light! I was gonna say that this is just about what Bistork needs to hold this if he uses the force fields.
Yeah, and even with force fields, there are just so many Ravagers. The force fields went down, dove on top of one of the Colossus. The other 2 stayed alive though, and because of that critical shield overcharge, like Bistork, he was able to hold on.
Absolutely was, just with actually the bare minimum of losses, in my opinion. Only lost 1 Colossus and a bunch of sentries.
Yeah, honestly,
Bistork, as long as he continues to turtle here, could get into position of counterattack, but GogojOey's just getting higher and higher in terms of the numbers.
Yeah,
every
definitely.
number.
Like Bistork, he just needs to continue to weather the storm. Like I would love it if he threw down like 3 more shield batteries. Like just do whatever you can to hold on, because again, like overcharge, it's on cooldown right now. It can't be used again for a little bit longer. Only 2 Colossus. Like he needs to just continue to pump out more units. He killed all the Mutalisks, which was amazing, by the way. Like it was so good that he was able to split up his army like that. But now there are Corruptors as well.
Yeah, there are, and honestly, Corruptors, they don't care about force fields. They dive right on top of these Colossus. And with that, once again, I think GogojOey has too much. Although, in saying that, I said that about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and the overcharge is used. Currently, the Colossus are staying alive. He's focusing on keeping the Colossus alive. Meanwhile, the rest of the army is killing the Roach Ravager. And once again, Bistork, he holds.
That he does, really using the most out of that choke point there. And now, looking at it, the army supply is just about equalized. It's a little bit higher for GogojOey right now, but this is PvZ that we're talking about. PvZ involving Roach Ravagers. That supply, that Zerg supply, army supply is very deceptive.
Exactly. What's also deceptive is that, again, like a lot of Roach Ravager is high in supply. There's a lot of Corruptors as well. After they kill the Colossus, like that's dead supply in the air as well, but they will get all the Colossus.
Yeah, they do, and they're starting to get picked off right now from the Stalkers. But as you said, they've done their job, and yeah, GogojOey really doesn't need to keep them around. I mean, he could always keep them to eventually turn the Brood Lords or just start caustic spraying some buildings, but yeah, they fulfilled their purpose, and now it's time for the Roach Ravager to really shine.
Yeah, and now they're a disruptor zone, but it's gonna get picked up.
GogojOey! He does Retro Snipe it just before the Purification Overlands. Gave me some dream vibes there.
Oh no, the Warp Prism is finally here, but it's gonna get taken out by the Corruptors. Oh god.
They just the Corruptors around. I like it.
Exactly. It was all calculated, all planned, and as all that was happening, I noticed that like the production tab for tab for Bistork was completely empty. Like he was backing up quite a lot, waiting for that Warp Prism to come back, but I got intercepted. He couldn't reinforce his army, and now GogojOey once again almost remaxed. And I mean, I don't know how to say this, but like Bistork, he's continuing to like defend really well, but now with only gateway units, like he needs something else. Like he needs a Colossus or disruptors.
I believe in the Blink. Is what I'm gonna say.
I mean, so far he's been doing well. Like even though he's been stuck on 3-waste economy, like he's been trading like efficiently.
Yeah, he really has. And once again, some pretty nice force fields. And honestly, GogojOey has not really been biling down these force fields that much. I think he's mostly been relying on them as a form of zoning.
Yeah. And the Colossus, it's here. And once again, like the Corruptor count is incredibly low because he just keeps losing them to the Blink Stalkers. So this ground army for Bistork, he can totally defeat all these Ravagers.
Yeah, he definitely can. Remember, the lack of the armor tag does hurt the Ravagers a little bit here when it comes to the Colossus. And again, fantastically efficient trade. Bistork, he's working on his transition. He knows there are no Banelings involved in this matchup, so he's starting to get some charge loads with +3 weapons on the way. GogojOey, what has he got? He's sticking with this Sword Ravager and just continuing to lose more and more of his supply.
Yeah, we've seen this before. Like GogojOey, he's being so stubborn right now, sticking with his same army composition. Bistork has to be so careful though. He's going very far into creep, and there's a lot of links here.
There really are. The Corruptor's starting to target down this Colossus. And again, as you said, without a Warp Prism, it's impossible to micro a Colossus there. Really nice Blink micro coming out from Bistork, although this should just about be deflected here. And now I'm just looking at the army supply difference right now, like, oh, that's unfortunate pathing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the army supply difference, and what my brain is telling me is that GogojOey, he's got about 3 times the army supply. He should be favored. But then Bistork just keeps getting the better end of those trades over and over again.
Yeah, the thing is, like, defensively, Bistork is, like, at his best. But, like, every single time he pushes out, he just loses more and more. And now, once again, like, he lost his Colossus when he pushed out. Now he's down to just sentries. And there aren't any shield batteries situated here at the 4th base. Like, this is not the best location to fight for Bistork. Like, GogojOey, he should be able to take down this Nexus.
Should being the operative word there. As the quick little warfare themselves will definitely help out. This is a really good concave for the North Ravager army though. And with Caustic Spray, that should just about seal the deal.
Yeah, the base goes down. So many workers here for GogojOey, for Bistork. Gonna be long distance mining, and again, I love this from Bistork. He's doing the best he can with what little he has, but that's the problem, right? Like he just can't really compete at the moment. Like he needs Immortals, he needs Colossus, he needs something to support his units. He just has nothing but sentries and stalkers.
Yeah, I mean that's all he can afford to make right now. Mining has just been so disrupted, and just choked out from Bistork.
Yeah.
Up once more.
Yeah.
See it.
He's focusing on the forge. Well, +3 already finished. Like he already has the upgrade. But yeah, in saying that, like even though GogojOey, he's just been continuing to make Roach Ravager, eventually he will break Bistork. Like Bistork, he's been contained to 3 bases this entire time. Like he's so incredibly oversaturated.
He really is. Literally twice the mineral count there. Or mineral saturation, I should say there.
Yeah, and like he's mined out in his main base, he's mining out here in his natural as well. Like, I mean, Bistork, he has done such a phenomenal job at defending, but like at the end of the day, like you're gonna run out of minerals, like you're gonna run out of money, like you need another base. Meanwhile, GogojOey, he's just you know, Scrooge McDuck right now. You know, he's just swimming in it.
A pool of money.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just pretty much throwing it around in the form of his army.
pretty much.
All right, time for round 7-ish, I believe it was.
Not again. The Warp Prism. So the Warp Prism is going to be dealt with as the Corruptors, they are faster than it. They do chase it down, and here we go. GogojOey, he's maxed out once again, and I mean, we'll see if the Disruptor Shot's any good.
The Disruptor Shot was good, but the splits were better. Is how I will save that one light. All right, the force fields are now down. Good counting away from the Purification Nova. And I don't want to call the things too early here because I did that repeatedly throughout this game.
I think this is it though. The sentries are all going down. They're out of energy as well. Like the wave of Zerg continues. The 4th base gets cancelled. There is one more disruptor, so maybe with a decent shot. Not bad, but again, he needs a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I think decent, not bad, are not going to cut it when it comes to disruptor shots. GogojOey, he just does not care. He is all the way in.
He is, and even though like these Blink Stalkers they're microing very well, the Nexus, the 3rd base, the last mining base really is going down.
And it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Just like that disruptor as well. Just nothing but Blink Stalkers. And I mean, Bistork, he's like microed and played this out so incredibly well. Unless the Protoss player would have died in the first like 10 minutes, but
I do feel, just to add on to what you're saying, I do feel like that was the case of GogojOey winning that game in 10 minutes, but then not being able to actually seal the deal or close it out for another 10.
Yeah, and it goes to show like how good of a player Bistork is. Like, honestly, there were moments there where he, because of how well he was defending, like he was getting back into it slowly but surely. Honestly, it did kind of come down to the fact that he was stuck on 3 bases. Like he was just slowly worn down. He just desperately needed another Nexus, and GogojOey was just not letting him have it.
Absolutely. But I'm sure I was gonna go for that. Something about defensive stuff.
I think, you know what, with that game, I think Bistork, he may be eligible to apply for Shield. Just saying. Like, that was impressive.
Or is he too crazy?
I don't know. Like, if Probe can be an agent of Shield, I feel like Bistork should be.
I feel like Probe was an agent of Shield before he got taken out, though.
True.
Or got corrupted, though.
Very true.
It is definitely accurate.
All right, here we go. We're going to be getting ready for game number 2. And again, just as we saw, like I would favor GogojOey. Like he is the best player in Hong Kong. But Bistork, you know, he competes. He takes maps. Yeah, he's the 2nd best. Yeah. And, you know, like, I don't want to put him down too much, right? Like, oh, he's the 2nd best in Hong Kong, right? But, you know, like, he's such a good player either way.
He absolutely is, which, you know, it's why it's so exciting to see him play here and potentially make it to the DreamHack Masters Regional.
Yeah.
I think he definitely has a shot here. We have 3 qualifiers. To be fair, I'm not sure how many players actually qualify, but yeah, we have 2 more qualifiers after this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we are kind of biased when it comes to the Hong Kong boys. Like, we love these 2 guys. We cast them all the time, so we want them to do well and make it through. But, you know, when it comes to the bracket, there are a couple of other, like, really strong players. Of course, we talk about him a lot. Rex, he's all the way on the upper half of the bracket. You know, one of the best in Taiwan, so we wish him the best as well.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And speaking of some of the best, here we have it in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of not Eternal Empire, but Gold. LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the Red Zerk coming down from Hong Kong. He is one of those absolute top players. You can call him the Wallaby if you want. I'm not sure why, but, you know, you can. You're going to be representing Team GP. We have GogojOey.
May I press the wrong button initially. Yes! Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE. We have the Hong Kong Protoss, the Pink Protoss as well. He is teamless. He's representing himself. He is Bistork.
That was representing Zester.
I don't know about that, mate. Like, he's like a hybrid, right? Like he's a little bit of zest, but he's also a little bit of stats. You know, he's like,
yeah,
he's got a little bit of both in him. I feel.
He is a stork.
He is a stork.
But yeah, speaking of qualifiers, I do want to point out that right after this match, whoever wins it, immediately going to be going into a qualifying match.
Not just a qualifying match, and their opponent is currently waiting. The winner of this series will go up against one of the best players in Australia, but always.
My guy, he is that your favorite ANZ champs champion.
Exactly. He represents Australia, at least that 1 year he did, so yeah. God damn it.
I think it's going to be quite a tough ask, honestly, no matter which of these opponents make it out there. Just sort of pointed out, but I believe Bud Always in that tournament, didn't he take out? No, I think Seether took out Pro, but still, he took out Seether and Risky.
Bud Always did surprisingly well. A lot of people called him like Haas 2.0. Like he was incredibly aggressive, incredibly cheesy. And for those wondering, what we're referencing to is I believe it was last year. Bud Always represented the ANZ region as he was studying in Australia at the time. He had a student visa.
Yeah. And when he went to, it was WCS Austin, if I'm not wrong. It might have been WCS Valencia, but yeah, when he went to that, what's it called? They didn't ask him for his passport. They just asked him for a student visa that says, whatchamacallit of Australia.
Yeah, and due to that visa, like he was able to represent Australia. I believe he's currently back in Taiwan. He's no longer living in Australia, but yeah, exactly. That's the reason why.
Taking away our best players. Dang you, COVID.
So he's back in Taiwan. That's why he's here in the Taiwan qualifiers instead of the ANZ qualifiers. Regardless, like he's a really strong player, and he's someone who I haven't had the luxury of casting before. So I'm really looking forward to like the winner of this series against Bud Always.
Yeah, that I am, and right now it's gonna be a little hard to predict. I think it should be GogojOey, but the game is fresh. The game that we're loading in right now is still very fresh. It's Bistork once again not being too cheeky, not being that that zesty player that you expect him to be. This is open up fairly standard with a Stargate.
I feel like a lot of metagaming is coming into this, as in like Bistork, he was incredibly aggressive against Yoris, but not against GogojOey, and I feel like a lot of that is because they know how each other plays, like they're very familiar with each other, so typically, Bistork, he probably thinks that he can't get away with that sort of stuff, and he has to play a little bit more straight up.
Yeah, and I would not blame him there.
Oh God, speaking of straight up!
Well, throw everything we said out the window, because that is a 2-base fleet beacon being thrown down right now for Bistork.
I love it, and I don't love it at the same time.
I like the idea of it, right? Because this, from GogojOey's perspective, this just looks like a standard opening, right? Just standard opening with that Stargate that, you know, GogojOey not going to be suspecting too much on. I don't like it. Why? The reason I don't like it is because Bistork, he's on a pretty low economy. Stargate, you're gonna need a lot of money for Fleet Beacon.
So, on the one hand, I like this because, like, obviously, clearly, Bistork, he's been tuning into Sentimental Latino and watching Paco and Mike. But it looks like he hasn't seen all of it because typically, there it is, the second Stargate gets thrown down, but it's a little bit late. Typically, you want it first, and then you have 2 carriers coming out at the same time.
Yeah, right now only one carrier is coming out at a different time from another.
Yeah, it means that he's only gonna have 1 carrier to start with, and you can't really do too much with it. Like, so the way that this build works is that if you go double Stargate first and then Fleet Beacon, you have enough money to get to start two at the same time, and then you immediately push out with 2 carriers. But with 1 carrier, like I imagine he's probably gonna start banking them up. Like you can't really push out with one because it's so vulnerable.
Exactly, you want to be hitting that vulnerable mass, and obviously he may need it for this link defense. Okay, it's just a little run by for scouting. MBD.
Oh, you say that, but GogojOey is making more roaches, more ravagers as well. He has cut drone production, and he's just making nothing but units right now. Even walking the queens.
Exactly, and I guess this is a little bit of a double-edged sword when you do go for the the Stargate opener. It means that the Zerg player, if they want to be aggressive, they know they're going to need anti-air.
Exactly. So they already have queens here. To be fair, one carrier or even two carriers against like 4 queens, like the carriers, they can definitely take them down. Even with especially with the support of these ground units and a shield battery.
They can take them down, but what about the interceptors though? It's gonna be the question.
Yeah. Oh my god, beautiful Biles.
2 queens to one-shot interceptor, if I'm not wrong, Light.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Bistork, he's focusing down the queens right now. The queens and transfuses are on point. And again, I love the Biles. He was GogojOey was able to bile both, all of the shield batteries, even the ones in the back as well. Jesus.
Exactly. I like that he's not wasting his Biles, risking going for the carries there. I think for a lot of Zerg players, it just gets way too tempting. You know, carriers, they're slow units. They may not get away from the bile in time, but you gotta expect from a player like Bistork to be anticipating that and moving his carriers right when he needs to.
Exactly, and with these carriers, he will be able to clean this up. Like, he should be able to. Like, these queens, shouldn't have enough DPS to kill these carriers, but he lost his third base. He's losing 12 workers as well. Like, the damage has already been done.
And then some. I think another really important thing to point out is that Bistork, he's currently supply capped. You need a lot of carriers, as you were saying, in order for this to really work. And even just to defend, you need more than 4. But yeah, right now, Bistork, he's starving for gas. He is supply blocked hard.
Oh no,
it's hard to see back from this.
And he's using the shield battery overcharge, but he's not targeting any buildings because it doesn't automatically target, so it was kind of wasted, and the buildings go down, the wall went down.
Suicide interceptors.
They're out of range.
And they are out of range now. But the ground army of GogojOey is starting to get cleaned out. I think he realizes that he could not stay there for too much longer if he just made more lings. It would be a bit of a waste. So GogojOey, what does he do? The smart thing. He transitions to a Spire.
Exactly. The Spire is already done. 5 spores on the way. They should be done as well. So right now, Bistork, he's on a timer. He has to do something with these carriers. Otherwise, the Corruptors are going to come out and they're just going to completely shut them down. But I love this. Because of this massive link counterattack, he forces Bistork to move back with the carriers for a moment, buying even more time.
Yeah, exactly. And Bistork, now he realizes he can deal with that. He is committed. But again, moving those carriers away for just that 1 second does buy GogojOey enough time for that Spire to finish up, to get these Corruptors out. I do not see these, especially if GogojOey can get a Concave, I do not see these carriers living.
Yeah, like carriers on their own like this, they need something to support themselves. And at the moment, with only 4 carriers, like the Corruptors, they're just gonna dive on them.
Yeah, what do we call these light, thick, Oh, I can't say it on the stream, can I?
Oh god, and with that, the carriers, one goes down, the others are forced to recall, and now GogojOey, he's just gonna hunt them down. Like, he's just going across the map with the Corruptors.
Yeah, he knows his work ain't done. And there we go, no recalls available this time, and no shield batteries either from the looks of things.
Yep. 1, 2, and the 3rd carrier is going to go down, and that's everything that Bistork was banking on, those carriers. And now the Corruptors, they can just keep going, and they can just, they can just caustic spray down a Nexus.
Like so. I would say caustic spray a fleet beacon, but nah, Nexus is probably the better idea.
Ooh, just like that, Bistork is down to 2 base economy. I mean, yeah, I love what Bistork was trying to do. Like, he was trying to be like really cheeky, but GogojOey, he was already looking to be incredibly aggressive with that like massive like Roach Ravager, like Queen March aggression. He didn't even know Bistork was going for the fleet beacon, but it worked out anyway.
That it did. That's why you never want to do these kinds of cheeses or builds against a player as aggressive as GogojOey.
Yeah.
This is a build that really relies on your opponent playing passive and sticking to their side of the map until what is typically appropriate. But GogojOey, he wants to be in your face and start as soon as he can, and he wants to put that pressure on you and get a nice scout.
Exactly, yeah, like Bistork, he was really relying on the Zerg player to just focus on joining up, as you were saying, like focus on that macro. But GogojOey, he's not that kind of player, and Bistork should be aware of that. Like, I guess he was kind of gambling a little bit, hoping that GogojOey was going to be a little bit more passive. And now we do see Bistork, he's coming out here with that hallucinated Colossus, forcing GogojOey back, when really GogojOey could totally fight this.
Exactly. But he's too worried. He's too worried that maybe he has thermal ants. You never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Oh my god, he's coming back. He's gonna snipe the Colossus. Oh!
Oh! If he leaves that Colossus, eventually Bistork's gonna hit critical mass.
You're not wrong. I want to see that. I want to see Bistork like mass hallucinate Colossus, and then we see GogojOey dive in with the Corruptors to deal with them.
He has one real Colossus thrown in there just because. Why not?
It's like Russian roulette. You have to hope that the real Colossus survives.
Exactly.
Oh no, not again!
Yeah, Warpers are gonna take out once more by the Corruptors, and yeah, GogojOey is looking pretty unstoppable right now, like, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, it's an army of mainly sentries, and they just tickle away at these units. I mean, there are a lot of sentries, to be fair, but GogojOey, he's just pushing his way on through. To be fair, with Shield Battery Overcharge, like, potentially the ground army can be stopped, but there's nothing stopping these Corruptors, though.
No, there is not. Well, potentially Stalkers, but they're not stopping the Corruptors. Alright, well, that's an Nexus taken out. A lot of ground army has cleared up, but GogojOey always quick to reinforce.
Yeah, and again, Bistork, like, the ground army of Bistork, it's enough to hold against the Roach Ravager. Like, that's great. But as we saw, like, the Stalkers, they were focusing on the ground army, so the Corruptors, they were kind of free to just take out the Nexus. Once again, Bistork on quote-unquote two-base economy, and yeah, he's just forced all in once again.
Yeah, and once again, I don't think it's gonna work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking a lot better in Eternal Empire. To be fair, this game, like, because of the beginning. GG.
GG is called, and we are gonna have another ZvP here for our qualifying match. It is gonna be the top player from Hong Kong, GogojOey, versus one of the top players from Australia. But always, let's go.
Oh boy, oh boy. I can't wait. I don't know what to expect because, again, like, at least I haven't seen too much from But Always, like, in the past year. So yeah, like, he isn't really one to compete or like, play in things like ESL Open Cup Asia, for example, like Rex, you know, like.
Well, he is a student.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Commitment.
Yeah, he does have other commitments, so I'm really curious to see how he's gonna go. Like, he's in the qualifying match, right? Like, clearly he still has retained some of those skills. We'll see how polished, how brushed up they are as he's going up against literally the best player from Hong Kong.